council members, not just the tenant leaders. It is every single one of our responsibility. Because otherwise we're going to hear about the news after the news. In the news, they said if it bleeds, it leads.
That's right. That's right.
That's what they say in the news. So that's why when you turn on your TV, first thing up at 6 o'clock is somebody got shot, somebody died. Turn it to another channel, somebody shot, somebody died. Turn it to the other channel, somebody shot, somebody died. God damn it, we know that already.
That's right.
And we don't need to be reminded. But they have a job to do, and we have a job to do.
That's right.
So I say to you respectfully, and Sister Lowe knows this, we are overcommitted to the Spring Creek community. We are overcommitted to this whole neighborhood back here, and that's why we're here. We didn't want to just go about life like it was usual, because it wasn't usual. What happened here was not normal.
That's right. That's right.
I want us to understand that. Don't ever internalize this. Don't teach our children that violence is normal. Gun violence is not normal. And so we got to make sure we change the dynamic. This is the summer, and you know we already know what happens, unfortunately, and when the heat goes up, the temperature go up, so does our attitudes. Am I right? And our anger goes up. I am overcommitted. I'm saying this with great respect and confidence because I got men in green and women in green and women and brothers and sisters in brown, people that are part of the crisis management system. We are committed to this work, and we're going to be here with you all when the cameras leave.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? I just wanted to say that, Charles. It's on you. Councilmember Charles Barron. Let's give it up for him.
Brothers and sisters, Brother A.T. Mitchell, give it up for Brother A.T. Man Up from all the organizations, Nation of Islam. That's our responsibility. Now, what about the system's responsibility? We're going to do our part, and we should never stop demonstrating. Don't ever think this doesn't mean anything, because the minute you stop, it'll get worse. So we have to keep marching, keep our voices out there. But let me tell you something. You know education is the pathway to liberation. So how the hell does a mayor with a $101 billion budget cut $210 billion from the Department of Education, but gave the police $11 billion? That's right, I'm gonna tell it like it is. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with AT and all of the violence interrupters that stop violence in their small catchment areas. They've done that. AT and Man Up, for a whole year when they got started, not a single shot was fired in their catchment area for a whole year. How do you give them $100 million for 35 to fight over, and the police get $11 billion? $513 million for overtime for the police. Something's wrong with that. And here, all you have to do is put $1 billion out of $101 billion city budget. $1 billion for AT and violence interrupters. Ain't that right? That's what we need to do. Give it up for that. They need $1 billion, not $100 million. How do you have only 1.7 million? 1.7 million for workforce development. We need jobs, not jails. We need jobs, not more police on the street. I know y'all think that might make you safe, but there's not a brother or sister that gets up in the morning and says, you know what? I think I'll be a criminal. There's not enough cops out there. I think I'll go into a world of crime. They didn't build enough prisons to put me in. They do that because some of them are off mentally. Some are desperate. They lost their way. You know the worst thing that can happen to a person if they think the predicament they're in, the situation they're in is permanent. If they think the situation is permanent, if they think it will never change, can you imagine that? You're in a situation that's not good and you don't think it's ever going to change. That's homicide or suicide. Unless you think, unless you have some hope for a future. And the way you do that is we got to get the money in the right places. $101 billion budget, a $220 billion state budget. And what about black representatives in high places? Well, let me tell you what we have. The head of the state assembly, black. The head of the state senate, black. The mayor, black. The police commissioner, black. The commissioner of schools, chancellor, black. Borough presidents, black. The public advocate, black. The state attorney general, black. The first black vice president, black. And guess what? First in poverty, black. First in unemployment, black. First in homelessness, black. In the richest country in the world, we shouldn't have any homelessness. With a budget of $200 billion and $100 billion, everybody should have a gig, a living wage job, and everybody should have a home to live in. This is why I fight against capitalism. I fight against the imperialist wars abroad, and I consider myself a radical. America needs a revolution, a change at the top, so that healthcare is free, education is free, housing is a constitutional right. That's what they do in other countries like Cuba and Venezuela and Angola. Education is free. How in those poor countries education is free, in this rich country you go broke trying to educate your children? Look at the price of food. They're fighting in the Ukraine and price of food's going up, inflation's going up, everything's going up but your salary. Something's wrong with a system like that. So we're gonna march today because we gotta send a message to our young people. You don't want to be the generation where more of us kill us than the KKK killed us. You don't want to be that generation. And I love A.T. Mitchell and all of the violence interrupters so much. Alice Loman, she's been going at it for a long time here. Give it up for Alice, trying to make things happen. So we're going to deal on that level, but we need to raise the consciousness on how the system needs to change as well as the person needs to change. Fired up? Say I'm fired